A este hombre le acaban de decir que su esposa ha sido asesinada. Sin embargo, nunca hubiera esperado que fuera su hija la responsable. El 3 de marzo de 2020, la policía de Ohio respondió a una llamada al 911 en una dirección en Akan y encontró a Brenda Powell en el suelo de su cocina. Con 30 puñaladas en el cuello, su hija Sydney estaba en la casa en ese momento y le dijo a la policía que se trataba de un allanamiento de morada convertido en un asesinato brutal. Pero a pesar de que Sydney también resultó herida, todavía quedaban preguntas sin respuesta. Las cosas no cuadraban para la policía. Brenda estaba hablando por teléfono con uno de los profesores de la Universidad de Sydney en el momento en que fue atacada y durante esa llamada, de repente comenzó a gritar antes de que el teléfono se apagara. Cuando volvió a llamar, la voz al otro lado del teléfono decía «Ser Brenda». Pero el profesor universitario sabía que era mentira y sospechaba que Sydney se hacía pasar por su madre. Temiendo lo peor, llamó al 911 y los socorristas llegaron en poco tiempo. Este grito combinado con ser llamado al lugar es causa suficiente para que la policía ingrese por la fuerza a la casa, y esto es lo que le esperaba cuando entró a la casa.
Acker Police! Acker Police! Where's your mom at? Okay, stay right here.
No, there's so much blood. No, please.
Man,
She's
take her.
recording now. No.
Stop!
We gotta figure out what's going on. Can you sit down?
R9, get that 32 rolling here quick. We got a female down, blood all over the place. Sergeant Smart, you just got a crime scene. Taking her outside. You got she's blood all over. I don't even know if she's breathing. Secure the scene. She looks like a 22. She looks like she's been down for a while. There's blood all over the place. There's a knife by her head and stuff like that, and there's a huge pool of blood. No, I think she just walked in on it. There's a broken window in the back, so if you can just put up some crime scene tape. As soon as AFD gets here, they're going to pronounce her, I'm sure.
Resulta que Brenda no solo ha sido apuñalada, sino que también la han golpeado en la cabeza con una sartén de hierro y sus heridas son tan devastadoras que su vida está en juego.
Come on.
Is she gonna be okay?
Come on.
I don't...
Come on. You just need to cooperate with me, all right?
I want my dad.
Huh?
I want my dad.
What happened? What's going on? What's going on?
We heard a bang. We heard a bang. And she told me to get out. And then I heard screaming. So I came back and she was on the ground.
Okay, you heard a
I ran
bang.
out back. There was a bang. Someone broken.
What is your name?
Sydney.
Are you cut?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're cut somewhere.
I don't think so.
Yeah, your hand.
No, I was helping her. I grabbed her.
All right, stop.
I grabbed the knife.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know. We just got
Dad. I'm the dad.
Okay,
Sydney.
what's-
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sydney parece haber resultado herida y está sufriendo un shock y luchando por mantenerse unida. Ni siquiera la llegada de su padre, Steve Powell, calma a Sydney. La policía necesita cerrar la escena del crimen y tratar de descubrir exactamente qué sucedió.
The back window's broken in.
So you're gonna have to. Daddy! Inside there. So
I don't know. There
go
was
check
so
the
much
lady in the
blood.
house. Okay. She's got minor cuts.
Dentro de la casa hay una ventana rota y el cuchillo usado para apuñalar a Brenda, pero algo no está del todo bien, ya que la ventana rota tenía sangre goteada en el exterior, lo que llevó a la policía a concluir que solo podría haberse roto después de que Brenda fue apuñalada. Sin embargo, Sydney afirma que el intruso usó la ventana para entrar y que fue rota antes del ataque, lo que lleva a la primera de muchas inexactitudes en su historia.
Interesting. Okay, do we know who, where, which way?
That's the younger guy. I'm looking through here and I can see pictures. And there's a whole basement set up for what looks like.
Yep, hey, sorry, I'll call you right back. Bye. All right, let me go report that.
Yeah, there's got a man. It's probably her brother.
Well, I'll see if we can find out who else lives here.
En un caso tan serio con tantas preguntas sin responder, la policía pasa algún tiempo hablando con los propietarios de las casas cercanas. Tienen que intentar recopilar la mayor cantidad de información posible, pero en este momento, la única persona que tiene algo de sentido es el padre de Sydney.
Okay. Do you live here, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my wife and there's my daughter.
How old's your daughter?
She'll be 20 in March. She's 19 Is she coming out?
Not yet, sir. Just kind of hang out.
Sydney, can you tell me what happened? Huh? Sydney. Sydney.
On its way?
Yeah, it's coming.
From where?
Yeah, that's them right there. I can hear them.
Hey, Bob. Female hair.
Mientras intentan armar este rompecabezas, la policía habla con Steve Powell y uno de los amigos de Sydney en la estación, con la esperanza de que puedan ayudar a arrojar algo de luz sobre lo que realmente sucedió. Pero, desafortunadamente para Steve, él no tiene absolutamente ninguna idea de que Sydney es la atacante o, peor aún, que su esposa está en estado crítico en el hospital y probablemente no sobrevivirá, algo que los detectives tendrán que informarle más temprano que tarde.
Who'd you get a call from? Yeah. Got a call from him, call from me. Oh, okay.
He said there was a call, went out, a distress call from the University of Mount Union where my daughter was going and said, female in distress. I said, well, that's funny because Brenda's there, my wife. So I called Brenda. And it rings on the cell phone, no answer. I call Sydney back, rings, no answer. I call Brenda back, ring, no answer. I'm pacing around. I call Chief back, and as I'm on the phone with him, telling him there's no answer, my doctor calls me back. I said, oh, Mom's on the phone with Mount Union. I said, well, cops are on the way. And she went, there's a break-in, and she just started going off. She said, what? She said, there's been somebody broke into the house. There's blood everywhere. She was hysterical and crying.
So at first, when you talked to her, she said that your wife was on the phone with Mount Union.
Yes. And as soon as I said, cops are on the way, the hysterics started.
Is she still attending Mount Union?
Well, as far as we knew up until today, yes, but apparently not for the last, I don't know, maybe couple weeks.
Lo que Sydney no les había dicho a sus padres era que había sido expulsada de la universidad semanas antes de que esto sucediera y les había estado mintiendo desde entonces, pero sí se lo contó a sus amigos, incluyendo a Lauren, quien vivía en el mismo dormitorio.
Now, we understand that Sydney was your roommate at Mount Union?
Yes, she was for last year and then this year until she left.
And so you've been friends ever since your freshman year at St. B?
Mm-hmm.
Go over each other's houses, everything like that.
Yep. Well, she started off in exercise science freshman year, her first semester, but then she didn't like the classes, so she switched over to psychology and sociology, but then she didn't really like that, so this year she switched to education, and then she didn't like that either, and that's one of the reasons she left, is because she really couldn't find what she liked. I think she struggled in her classes. I don't think her grades were the best, but she didn't really tell me that because I wasn't really struggling. I think she kept a lot of stuff hidden because when we were just talking or with our friends, she always seemed happy. Like, she seemed okay, like I said, I couldn't tell until the end where she was kind of just like struggling and she kind of was sad and just like, Lauren, I don't know what to do. I think she felt like everybody around her kind of had figured out what they wanted to do and she hadn't.
Establecer el estado mental de Sydney en los días previos al incidente ayudará a los detectives a descubrir si simplemente perdió el control o si fue premeditado. El problema es que Sydney va a afirmar que en realidad no tiene idea de lo que ocurrió durante todo este caso. De hecho, va a basar toda su defensa en el hecho de que se desmayó e incluso alegará locura utilizando esto. Esto significa que la policía todavía no tiene pruebas sólidas de que Sidney sea la culpable, pero están empezando a descubrir que estaba ocultando secretos de casi todo el mundo.
Well, I know she's had anxiety for a while, but I think it was this last semester, like starting coming back in January, is when it really started, that she was kind of more like upset because she really didn't know what she wanted to do. My friends and I were worried for her because we didn't know what was going on because she didn't tell us, and
Lauren sabía que algo estaba mal e intentó ayudar. Al principio, no tenía motivo para dudar de ella y fue tan solidaria como cualquier amiga podría haber sido en un momento así. Pero incluso Lauren comenzó a sospechar del comportamiento evasivo de Sidney.
I could tell she was getting more upset, like more sad, and I told her, like, I'm here, like, you can tell me, I'm here for you. If you need anything, I'm here. But she never really opened up until she was leaving and saying that she was struggling with school and that she was kind of trying to figure out what was going on, and that's when I started to try to help her.
Let's talk about this. You're her best friend, and I know this is difficult, but tell us about her relationship with her parents.
Her and her parents had a really good relationship. Like, her mom and her were best friends. Probably, like, they did everything together. Like, one of the reasons she went home was to be with her mom. They were always close. She never said anything bad about her mom. She never ever talked about having an argument with her mom. Like, I can't recall every time she'd be going home, she's like, I can't wait to see my mom. Or when she goes home for weekends, she'd be like, oh, my mom wants me to come home so we can hang out and like watch movies. And she loved being home.
En este punto, Sidney se está envolviendo en una mentira de la que va a tener dificultades para escapar, pero en lugar de admitirlo, decidió hacer creer que la universidad simplemente no estaba funcionando para ella e intentó convencer a sus padres de que podrían ahorrar mucho dinero en las cuentas universitarias si ella se iba para seguir otras cosas.
I said, well, but that's all part of it. Nobody's going to tell you you need to do what you're doing when you're 20. You need to figure it out.
Pero eso no es lo que les dijo a sus amigos.
So when she's talking to you about, the problems she's having at school, did she mention that she tried talking to her parents?
Yeah, I know she definitely, especially when she left, she talked to her mom about leaving. They kind of made that decision together to leave Mount.
Las sospechas de Lauren resultaron ser ciertas y Sidney le estaba mintiendo a sus amigos. Pero al mismo tiempo, también les estaba mintiendo a sus padres, quienes no sabían nada de sus problemas en la universidad hasta que recibieron una llamada telefónica de la profesora de Sidney. Steve y Brenda comenzaron conversaciones de crisis para averiguar exactamente qué estaba pasando con su hija.
So I went back, I called my wife on my daughter's phone. She picks up, she was working down in Children's. And she goes, what's wrong? And I basically told her, I said, Sidney, I think the reason we can't get on is because she's unenrolled. She hasn't been going to school.
Sidney se vio envuelta en dos conjuntos de mentiras, la historia que les contó a sus amigos y la historia que les contó a sus padres. Las malas calificaciones no son el fin del mundo, y cualquier padre apoyaría a su hijo en esos momentos difíciles, pero parece que ella pensaba que sus padres se enojarían y no pudo decirles que le habían pedido que dejara la universidad.
Yeah, we asked her what she was doing and she said she was good. She acted like what we would see as normal, like she was laughing, she was having fun. She said she got jobs because she worked at the Akron Rubber Ducks. She's worked there for a couple seasons, so she was gonna go back there. And then she also said she was looking for another job and like everything was good, and she was trying to figure out like her next year and all this stuff. And she was gonna talk to her parents about housing, trying to come back to Mount.
Once she got to Mount Union, or anytime actually, did Sidney ever drink alcohol at all, or she did? Okay, just kind of describe that for us.
She liked to drink. There was an incident in the fall of our freshman year where she drank too much and she wasn't alcohol poisoned, but she did end up in the hospital. Her mom came and got her at like 2 in the morning. Usually after that, her and I were together, and if she did drink, I usually kind of like sober down after I'm kind of her limit because she's
La sospecha del detective es que Sidney enloqueció cuando Brenda estaba hablando por teléfono con su profesor universitario y trató de ocultar sus mentiras silenciando a su madre para siempre. El problema radica nuevamente en que Sidney afirma no recordar nada, pero al parecer cometió errores cruciales y descuidados que permitieron a los detectives reconstruir las piezas del rompecabezas. Sidney agarró una sartén de hierro y golpeó a su madre hasta someterla antes de hundirle un cuchillo para carne en el cuello más de 30 veces. Luego, Sidney se hizo pasar por su madre en el teléfono y simuló un allanamiento para intentar ocultar sus huellas.
I made it in far enough to see the back fit. When you go into the front door, you come around the kitchen, you go in, you can see there's like a pass-through between the kitchen and the family room. The back of the house, I could see the right hand, there's 2 big sliding windows. I could see that window was clearly, it looked like it was busted. Went down the hallway probably about 2 feet, just enough to see blood all the way down the hallway.
Lamentablemente, Brenda no sobrevivió al ataque y falleció en el hospital. El médico forense del condado llegó a la conclusión de que Brenda había muerto por un traumatismo cráneoencefálico contundente y heridas de arma blanca en el cuello. Dictaminaron su muerte como homicidio. Esto dejó a los detectives con la tarea de comunicarle la trágica noticia a Steve de que su esposa había fallecido.
Well, not really bad news. Your wife passed away.
Los detectives investigaron las afirmaciones de Sidney sobre un intruso responsable, pero sus hallazgos no parecían coincidir con su historia. La evidencia pintaba un panorama completamente diferente. Esto dejó a los detectives con una última tarea devastadora: comunicarle a Steve que su propia hija había sido la causante de la muerte de su esposa.
What happened?
I don't think someone broke into the house. I don't know if your wife and daughter got into an argument, got physical. I mean, the window was broken, but there's no forced entry into the house. Did your wife and daughter ever have like really heated arguments?
No. This is not possible.
Your son's outside. He doesn't know what's going on.
My son's here?
Yes.
Would you like one of us to just go be with your son?
I don't know. I don't know.
Take your time. There's no rush for anything.
Es simplemente imposible imaginar la confusión por la que debe estar pasando Steve en este momento. Su esposa asesinada y su hija la principal sospechosa. Finalmente Steve se da cuenta de que los detectives podrían tener razón al dejar que él le dé la noticia a su hijo.
Clearly they think Sidney did this. I lost 2. She's going to jail forever. Wife's dead.
You know, they're going to do everything they can to make sure that they find out exactly what happened. Nothing's definite as of yet. They still have to do their investigating.
Where's Andrew? Is he just sitting out there by himself, or is he with?
Would you go blame when they're supposed to be?
Well, yeah, I don't want anybody in here with me when I
Yeah,
talk to him. I don't want anybody. I just want me and him. That's legal. I don't care.
You don't want any advice?
I don't want any of you. No, I just want Andrew.
So you just come and get us when you're ready,
I will.
okay?
You want me to do it? I want me. They don't know. They haven't told me. They're investigating.
Sidney fue arrestada y acusada del asesinato de Brenda Powell. Afirmó que estaba loca al principio, diciendo que casi no recordaba lo que sucedió, incluido golpear a Brenda con la sartén de hierro fundido y apuñalarla fatalmente. El jurado no le creyó a Sidney y fue declarada culpable de 2 cargos de asesinato, un cargo de por agresión sexual y un cargo de manipulación de pruebas. Sidney Powell fue sentenciada a cadena perpetua con posibilidad de libertad condicional después de 15 años.